inside out. She tore the sheets inside out. Fool around and hide out on the beach in China. Find a suit to wear out. Take a selfish side out. Cry out that I'm just a man. You slam the door around. Sleep outside out. Took the sheets inside out. Pull around and hide out. I watch the sunset violent. Lose it all in silence. Dig a hole in my mind. There's something on this island that's keeping me off balance. I trip on the floor, I don't see it. Forget it all, just smile now. Wasted all the time now. The road is steep, I slide down. Every day we're eating out. Another day I'll kill myself. So wake me up next time you're around. Wake me up next time I'm around. I really should just think it out. I'm falling down another slope. It's run away or turn it round. Just wake me up next time I'm around. All I've ever wanted, was something of my own. I guess I'll never find it on this beach. If I forget it all and smile now, just wasted it all in style now. One slip and I fall out, start seeing. Every day we're eating out. Another day I'll kill myself. So wake me up next time you're around. Wake me up next time I'm around. I really should just think it out. I'm falling down another slope. It's run away or turn it round. Just wake me up next time I'm around.
Bonjour à toutes, bonjour à tous, vous êtes avec Chloé Saramea et je suis ravie de vous retrouver aujourd'hui sur Rinse pour une discussion d'1 heure autour de la création scénique. C'est l'occasion de dévoiler les coulisses de la conception de la musique live, des concerts et des performances sur scène. Je reçois 2 invités, les Britanniques Dominic Maker et Kai Campos, qui forment depuis 2008 le duo Mount Kimbie. Hello guys, welcome on Rinse.
Hi, thank you.
Thank you for being here.
My pleasure. Thank you.
How are you?
Very good.
I'm pretty jet lagged, but
yeah?
apart from that, I'm okay.
Okay, you went from LA to London and London to Paris?
That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I've just moved back from from LA for the first time in 8 years.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Is the first time you're here at Rinse France?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
So welcome.
Thank you.
Le son qu'on vient d'écouter s'appelle Dumb Guitar. Il est déjà disponible sur leur prochain album de Sunset Violent qui sortira le 5 avril chez Warp Records. C'est un peu la suite logique de Love What Survives, un album mémorable tendance shoegaze et post-rock sorti en 2017 avec des collaborations de King Krul, James Blake et Mika Levy. Le prochain disque du groupe est full batterie et riff de guitare et raconte l'histoire d'un couple qui tente de sauver leur relation sans y parvenir. Ils l'ont écrit dans la Yucca Valley, une ville dans le désert en Californie. I read that you did write the record in the Yucca Valley, which is a desert in California. Why did you do it there?
It's a good question. I don't remember.
It's probably not a logical answer to that, but
It's just I don't know.
I know that area fairly well because my wife's grandmother's from there.
Okay.
But the area is amazing. It's beautiful, and it just felt like kind of the perfect place to do it. There's a lot of space there. You can kind of be left alone. You're in the middle of nowhere. It's a really weird place. Very strange people living out there, and it's just a good way of getting away from the regular kind of like studio setups and so on. So it was really effective for us.
You didn't want it to do it in London? You've done with London? Or?
Yeah, we finished with London. No, we just thought we'd go and start writing some songs, and maybe we'd get 2 or 3 or 4 good ones.
Uh-huh.
But then it actually turned out that we kind of ended up doing loads of work out there and did most of the album was from there really. But we still came back to London after that. It was complicated because it was a time where it was difficult to travel. But we still came back to London and did a lot of work there as well. Yeah, it's in between the two.
Okay. To record this LP, you created the band you formed in 2017. Can you tell us who is in the band and how did the band form?
So we got Andrea Balenci on. On this record, she's done a lot of writing and she's a vocalist on there.
From Paris, no less.
From Paris, yeah.
Yeah, her name is French actually.
Balenci bien.
Yeah.
And then we got Mark Pell on drums, who we sort of basically headhunted because he was like our favourite drummer. He plays with Mikachu, so he's part of Mika and the Shapes and that. And that's the 4 of us.
Okay.
Yeah.
And for Love What Survived, you've worked with Andy from Stereolab,
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah.
And for this one now?
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
Yeah, we did some recording there and always go around to get his opinion and, we recorded a bunch with him.
Legend, isn't it?
Yeah, great guy.
Cool. And do you consider this record as a live performance album?
It's funny, it's not, it kind of, it is and it isn't, I don't know, I mean, the stylistic choice was very much leaning towards a drum machine on this record, and so for 90% of the record it's all Lindrum, very like 80s sounding drum machine. So there wasn't a lot of performance as a full band in that way during the recording, but it's the record that's probably the most influenced by our time performing, and it sounds, it's just, the guitar is like a very big signifier for most people of live music, so it kind of is and it kind of isn't at the same time.
Okay.
Yeah.
And who is he playing what on the record? I know both of you are playing guitar and singing. Who is doing what?
Well, because basically Kai did pretty much all the music.
Okay.
And then me and Andrea did all the vocals and, writing for the vocals and so on. But then, when we take it on the road, we'll sort of divide up the duties. It's going to be a really fun record to play live for sure.
Yeah, so it would be my last question. What about stage? Who would be doing what on stage?
Well,
would it be the same, like you singing, Dominic, and
Dom's going to be like a front man, like Liam Gallagher.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why he's growing his hair.
Or Tom York.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Did your past live performances influence you writing for this album?
I think they definitely did.
Yeah. There's a thing, between people that play, when you play music with 4 people and it's good when it works, you have something that is like more than the 4 people, you know, and so we're always trying to find a way to do that, I think. Yeah.
I had the idea of inviting you because I'm following you on Instagram, and I saw a post of you, Dominic, saying that you were super happy to be able to tour again with the group and with the band. And I asked myself, how are you feeling about playing the new record live? Do you feel pressure? Are you stressed?
I don't feel...
Because it's been 6 years you haven't been touring together.
Yeah, I think for me it's like kind of because it's like power in numbers sort of thing. Like being with the band is like way more kind of obviously we will be nervous and stuff, but building up to it, I'm just very excited just to get going. That's the main thing, is like getting going. We got about 4 weeks of rehearsals coming up when we get back to London, so you know we're just kind of getting back in together and like sort of getting the like chemistry of the band going again and spending time together. We've been so separate because I've been over in America, you know, Andrea's studying, and Mark has his own stuff going on, so we're all sort of all over the place. So it'd be nice to like really zone in together, and you know we're going to do it all together. So
you haven't begun to rehearse together yet? Okay.
No.
Yeah.
And is it the same kind of rehearsals for every album, for every record? Are you preparing the same?
I mean, I think maybe the last one was the first time that we rehearsed like for a month before we went on tour, and so the setup is always slightly different just because of the songs and deciding how is the best way to play them. I don't even remember. It was so I actually don't remember what we did in the past, you know. So yeah, I don't know.
It's always weird trying to kind of, you know, like play a record that was from our earlier stuff that's way more electronic and sample based. It's kind of it's always been a challenge, like trying to figure out how to kind of figure them out live. But this is the first time we've had a record where it just feels like it's just ready to go. And now it's a question of how do you keep the other stuff in, and you know, without carrying like tons of equipment.
I'm watching like old videos of us playing to remember how we did it, you know. So thankfully there's lots on YouTube, you know, so it's just like, oh, okay, that's we did that.
There is lots of YouTube. We're gonna listen to some of your live performances.
Oh my goodness.
After, are you getting inspired by others who are creating live performances? I mean, maybe I can think about Portishead, Stereolab, Radiohead, Flying Lotus. Some people like that. Are you like watching shows?
Yeah, I mean, out of those, I think Stereolab is the most obvious comparison for me in terms of what we want to present on stage. You know, it's like a very like timeless and like just a core like band experience, which is like a group of people kind of not like really in sync with each other. You know, when I think of going to see Stereolab, it's just this kind of forward motion all the time, and I kind of want to achieve that, you know.
And it's a perfect blend between electronic and instruments. So, okay. Regarding that, I will have us to hear something, and we'll be back together soon.
Okay.
After.
All right. Cool.
Thank you.
Oh, can't anybody see? We've got a war to fight. We never find a way, regardless.
On est sur Rinse avec le duo anglais Mount Kimbie pour leur album The Sunset Violent qui sortira le 5 avril chez Warp. On vient d'écouter la version live à New York 98 de Rhodes, le titre culte de l'album Domi de Portishead. How do you feel, guys, about this track?
Portishead is classic, yeah.
But the live version, I mean.
That sounds amazing, yeah. I think they've always done a really good job of translating to the stage.
Some people do think they prefer this version than the studio version. Are you agree with that?
Not to listen to, like, for me, records are records, and I've always loved the sound of studio records. And then being at a concert is something very different, you know, but I don't think I've ever, maybe a YouTube video or, you know, you go back, but you're kind of, there's something else going on there. To me, the record was always not more special, but special in a different way. And if I was to listen at home, I would be listening to the record. Yeah.
Can you maybe think about the live version of one of your tracks and prefer this version than the studio version?
Oh yeah.
Has it happened?
I think there was a song called "You Look Certain" with Andrea singing, and the good thing about that one is that we sort of like added an extra section live, which I kind of wish was on record, but wouldn't really work on record. There's something like great about just the live kind of energy of it, and we sort of like start and stop at a slower speed and stuff, and it's a little bit quite funny.
Yeah. Sometimes you learn about the song only through playing it a lot, you know, and I think obviously some bands play the songs a lot on tour before they put them onto a record, but we tend to make the record and then do the tour. So sometimes you don't learn about what would have maybe been a good idea until 1 year later, you know.
In my opinion, you've been working since the very beginning of Mount Kimbie on the live version of your tracks. Why? Is it because it is very electronic? Is it very produced and you're forced to do it, to adapt it on stage, or you want to do it because you like to play live? What is the reason?
It's some combination of all of those. I think well, obviously, when we started in, you know, a long time ago, 15 years ago, whatever, we were surrounded by we were coming up through a kind of dance music scene. And, but it was always, we weren't really making club music, you know, at any point. It was always slightly removed and then kind of more and more removed in different ways. And, actually just like the tempos of the songs that we were making at the beginning were so all over the place, you know. There was stuff that was 90 BPM or 80 BPM and then stuff that was 140 and everything in between. And the music that we were making, I just didn't translate well to the clubbing, you know. It wasn't like, even though that's the world that we were kind of completely surrounded by. And we were like really excited to be in that world, you know. So the music led us, you know, to be like, okay, well, we need to do something else because it just wouldn't have worked. Yeah.
You're working with a musical director?
No.
Someone like that?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
You understand people doing that?
Of course, yeah. Like, to get another opinion in is fine. I guess the concern is that like too many young people, you know, sometimes like figuring stuff out and being rubbish is an important step, you know. And I think too many, because of how quickly success can come, too many people don't get to experience the period where you suck for long enough, because it's much easier to make stuff good enough now. And I think we probably lose some individual voices along the way of that.
Because of machines, because of,
and it's like, listen, this is how you do it. This is how you can do it, and you know, this has worked in the past, and so this will work for you. And then you kind of end up fitting into, you know. But I mean, I guess a good musical director isn't necessarily doing that.
Okay. You've been working on live version of your track since the very beginning, as I said, of Mount Kimbie, and we're gonna listen to one of these, and we'll be back on Rinse just after. Vous êtes sur Rinse avec le duo anglais Mount Kimbie pour parler de live à l'occasion de la sortie de leur album The Sunset Violent le 5 avril prochain. On vient d'écouter une version live de leur son Fields, sorti en 2010 sur leur premier album, Crooks and Lovers. Why have you been laughing while listening to the track?
It's funny. It's just very old, so I don't know. We're laughing about just being idiots.
You can kind of barely remember how we did that, to be honest. But we were just kind of like joking around about just because it was a lot to do for two people. So we were trying to kind of incorporate certain things into it, like a bit of live drums and stuff, and it was like always on like the borderline of just being a total disaster. And it was actually that sort of tension that made when it went well, it was really, really like rewarding. We felt incredibly satisfied and happy, but it was just always like on the edge of complete failure, which made it kind of exciting.
Okay, but I've seen that you perform this song quite a lot.
Yeah.
Why?
Field?
Yeah.
I think it's just quite like a good physical kind of full sounding track. And I mean, I suppose over time you start to build up a kind of feel for what the crowd kind of reacts to. And that one used to like go off quite a lot back in the day.
And you remember the moment you were playing this version?
I remember the room.
Yeah, I remember because that was at South by Southwest at this funny little recording studio. And it was at the beginning of like a really intense period of time, like a really intense tour. But so I don't really remember doing it, but I remember the place.
Why was it intense?
We were just running around, just two of us, with like not a clue how to tour, but just had to get to gigs all the time and partying and getting paid in cash. And
we had an insane tour manager. I think that was during that time.
Yeah,
insane. I mean, when I say tour manager, I mean,
but she wasn't with us, so it wasn't really like a tour manager. It was just a woman who got very angry at us
on the phone.
Yeah,
she was sort of like operating it by phone from a completely.
We couldn't
state.
afford for somebody to come with us, so we had to have somebody who just stayed by the phone.
Yeah, this is what I meant about being on the verge of disaster at all times, literally. But there were also, we just had so much fun back then.
Mm-hmm.
And now you do have a tour manager with you, no?
We do.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Things are
You're grown-ups now.
Grown-ups now,
Yeah.
exactly.
How do you feel about have you ever felt not playing a song because it was maybe too produced?
Yeah, a lot. I mean, we tried to work on everything, and then there is some aspect of, especially our earlier music, which is you kind of take away everything that's good about it because there's certain things that we don't want to do as a live act, which is to have lots of things being run in the background, so like a backing track essentially. And the other thing is that we don't want to play to a click track, because when you have this click track, it really, I think it inhibits us as a band, so it's much nicer. Well, it's not much nicer, it's like a really important thing for us to not be playing to a click. So very heavily sequenced music, like, if we can do a version that works and feels good, then we'll do it. But there are some times, especially with the older stuff, that we never quite figured it out.
Were you disappointed when you loved so much a track and you couldn't adapt it on stage?
Yeah, I think mostly for people that really like that song, like this song that's playing in the background, Carbonated. I'm not sure we ever really, we did it, we have played it quite a lot, but I'm not sure we ever quite figured out how to do it exactly right,
What about the song you produce for others? I mean, for Slow Tie or Chance the Rapper, and you, Dom, for Travis Scott or Jay-Z or James Blake. How do they adapt your song to the stage, and do they call you to work on this for them?
Yeah, I mean, usually once you've sort of done some work on something, that's your last involvement with it. And then that's on them to do their own live thing and all that kind of stuff. But all of those people that you mentioned, there's definitely like the opportunity to work with them again keeps coming round and round. So, they're kind of like in like a network as such. But in terms of on the live side, to be honest, that's kind of like on them. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Once you've done production on it, you just wash your hands of it.
So it never happened that someone's calling you like, oh wow, I need your help
No,
to work on this? No.
no,
Okay.
not yet.
Now we are going to listen to something else. On est toujours sur Rinse avec Mount Kimbie. On va écouter une autre version live d'un de leurs morceaux. À tout de suite.
Looking up at you, yeah. Are you looking up at me, yeah? Teeth shining, teeth are shining, yeah.
Now I know I do. Even if it looks like I thought this through, we could drive into the sea. I saw you looking up at me, yeah. Now I know I do. Even if it looks like I thought this through, we could drive into the sea. Saw you looking up at me, yeah.
Are you looking up at me, yeah? Looking up at you, yeah. I'm looking up at you. Are you looking up at me, yeah? I've got nothing on. So what are you thinking?
You Still Lock on Rinse France. On vient d'écouter la version du son Marilyn sorti en 2019 sur un EP Warp Session. How do you feel about this track?
I'm really happy with that.
Sounds nice.
Yeah, we were just sort of reminiscing about the session. We did it at Andy's studio, the Stereo Lab.
Okay.
Drummer Andy Ramsey. And yeah, Mika just kind of walks into the room and then just delivers the vocal, which is it's really sick because it's a really hard vocal to sing, I think.
And it was very rare that we get to play that song with Mika. So
Yeah.
it's
She's
like really
good.
nice that we have a recording of it.
Yeah, definitely.
I haven't seen her playing live, but I love
Yeah.
so much her music.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
I've been to Dean Blunt's concert at Pecan Miodio, and she was there. I know they're friends, and they're from a London group of people making good
Geniuses.
music. Yeah,
Yeah.
geniuses. Yeah, totally. So after searching and composing new version of the track and rehearsing for the live, I guess you are starting to think about concert staging. How do you conceptualize a Mount Kimbie tour?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of, we've been talking about it for the last couple of weeks. And obviously it's a balancing act between people and money, is a big part of it. So there's lots of things we would like to do. And then, but that's part of the fun, is trying to work within the limitations of what you can get on a plane with and what's going to work, because we're not traveling with loads and loads of crew or anything like that. So has to be somewhat like, responsible for asking people to put stuff up kind of slightly outside of their job description. So we've always wanted to be focused on the music in a way, and it's about enhancing what's going on there. I've never really been a fan of like a certain type of video work on stage. I think when the video when you're asking the video to do too much work, I think it can take away a lot from like the transcendence of performance. And so I guess the general principle is that we're trying to enhance the environment of what's already there on stage, in a way.
Do you have example, maybe some instruments that you cannot bring with you?
Oh, okay, yeah. I was thinking more about lights and production,
yeah.
screens and all of that.
You want a big screen? No, you don't.
Not really. Yeah, but I think it depends how you use it. Like I think there are good uses.
But that's not good, is using a big screen.
Okay.
And there are images like all over the show.
Yeah.
I
And
think
it can be good, it can be well used.
Yeah, definitely.
Actually.
for sure. I think actually what Kai said earlier is it stands the same for the musical equipment as well. We've had over the years we've had to sort of like really consider what we're carrying, because it just costs a lot to like move all this stuff around the world. So we kind of like always try and just strip back to as minimal as possible. It's just very difficult with the kind of the kind of diversity of the set now, between like full band records and then the more like electronic sample stuff and whatever. But it's all, it's like kind of part of the fun of live music is figuring it out.
How much do you write the show? How much do you imagine interaction between you and the audience? Is it that written or that I don't know how to say it in English, but
Yeah,
scripted.
I know,
Yeah.
like contrived. Yeah. No, I don't think we've ever written or considered what we're going to say. We figure out the order of the songs that we're going to play, and sometimes we'll do that and it will stay the same for 2 or 3 gigs, and then we'll want to make a little change, and that can be really close to when you're walking on stage that you decide to change something, and that's that can be, and then gradually as you go through the period of touring a record, 1 year or 2 years, you get better at understanding how these songs fit together and what feels like the right moment to play a certain thing. Yeah.
Are you working with people to direct movements? No. You understand people doing this? Because a new job has emerged in France in the music industry. People are paid to direct staging, to
choreograph.
to tell, to choreograph. Yeah, totally.
In terms of people moving around on stage and things like that?
Yeah,
or-
people moving, people talking to the audience, choreographing.
I mean,
yeah.
the only thing we've ever been told is we should talk more to the audience. That's
Okay.
the thing. Because I mean, you know, it is a big part of performance in general. And one thing that we've definitely got better at is when something like catastrophic goes wrong with our equipment, we tell the audience that there is something catastrophic going on with the equipment and keep everyone like understanding what's happening. It's just kind of like guiding.
But I think that's a totally valid job though, because I mean, if you're not very, if you don't feel like the type of person that can do that, you know, I don't think that should take away from the performance or anything like that. It's you know, when you see kind of what is possible with performance in terms of like the range of, if you think about like those David Byrne shows from a few years ago and stuff like that, you know, incredibly choreographed and down to like every person's movement and stuff like that. And I think it's a completely valid thing to do. Maybe we should do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We would benefit from that.
I read an article published a few years ago in a French newspaper mentioning that at the very beginning of Mount Kimbie, both of you thought you were terrible playing live. And now we're here to talk about this 14 years later. What did happen?
Just kept on doing it. Yeah. I mean, we did suck for sure. I mean, but we started off very small, so it didn't matter so much, you know? Yeah.
Comfort and sort of security, it for us is like, and really natural kind of habitat in music is in the studio. Do you know what I mean? Like that's where we both sort of, you know, probably have the most kind of fun and like the most like, it's the most settled you can be. And I think over time we've definitely become more kind of adept at like, we just learned how to kind of do it in our own way. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And also we work with really great musicians in Andrea and Mark who allow you to elevate what you're doing and kind of focus on what you're good at, you know, and everyone can just be themselves to the best of their ability.
Yeah, moving from just the two of us doing it to the full band was like probably the best decision we've ever made.
Wow. Do you feel like when you begin singing on stage and being with the band, people on the audience were thinking they were about to see DJs playing and there was some kind of disappointment or something like that? Did you feel that or not at all?
It's normally the other way around. If I go somewhere to do more kind of electronic music by myself, I'm always upsetting people who want to see Mount Kimbie, basically. Yeah. So.
And you're not giving it?
Not at all.
Yeah. Why?
Because it's a separate thing, you know. It's not like, I just want to do one thing, you know, all the time. That would be insane. But so no, not really. Not since the very beginning. That's basically how we ended up where we were, was because we were playing club nights, and it sonically would never compare to the person playing before or after us, you know, and we were rubbish, don't get me wrong, but also just that type of music in that environment with the gaps in between the songs and the singing and the feedback and all of that. So we realized pretty quickly that we needed to kind of look more towards like the traditional kind of venue performance thing and start moving in that direction. Yeah.
On the last Mount Kimbie tour, you invite King Krul on stage for the Parisian date. Will you invite him again?
He's invited every single time, yeah.
Okay.
It's just whether he accepts.
Okay. What do you expect for this next tour?
Well, there's lots more words. That's the most exciting thing for me. Is like we never had a lot of words, you know.
Yeah.
And we've never had songs that you can really sing, and there's a few of those on this record, and it's pretty. That's quite exciting. The idea of people singing the song is quite nice.
You announced a very special evening in Paris. Why?
A very special.
Yeah.
How so?
I read that. Why would it be very special?
I wonder. I wonder. I've got a idea, but I don't know who's written that very special. I mean, hopefully.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great.
As a spectator, what do you expect when you are going to a concert?
I suppose, well, to be entertained, probably, depending
As
on
everyone?
Yeah, and I think that's really it for me. Is like just to enjoy myself and have fun, and I think that is definitely something that we have kind of got better at as a band, is trying to like make it quite fun and like, you know what I mean, like just enjoyable and entertaining. But yeah, that's what I expect, to see something that makes me feel good.
What was the last show you've seen?
I actually saw Mikachu play just the guitar on her own at a small little social club in London, and it was brilliant.
Okay.
I'm trying to think who else I've seen recently. I saw King Cruel in with his band in LA.
Okay.
That was a brilliant show as well.
Have you heard about Salt performance in London? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, didn't go.
Apparently, it was amazing.
Yeah, very expensive tickets.
Very expensive, yeah.
But no, I'm sure it was. It seems like it was worth every penny. The videos looked incredible. Yeah.
Do you enjoy stadium concerts?
I don't think I've ever been to one. No. Yeah, that's not true. Actually, I have. Well, it's not really a stadium. I went to a bull ring to watch Yes when I was about. The prog rock band Yes.
No.
Really? Mm-hmm. You're not. I mean, it's horrible. Lots of people like it, but when I was
tell again the name. Sorry.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is the name of the band.
Yes.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe
They're
I should.
Very famous
Okay.
back in the day. Yeah. I went to see them in a bull ring with my ex-girlfriend and her family when I was about 14, and I passed out. Yeah. A not good experience from the larger shows. Yeah.
It's crazy because Taylor Swift already earned $1 billion with her tour, and she's gonna her twice when the tour will be end.
Yeah.
It would, and we often hear that artists are making money now with touring and not with the stream and with the selling. Is that true?
No,
Do you feel it?
we were just having this discussion about we haven't been touring for quite a few years, I guess, and so it's not easy because basically we're playing the same places that we played when we toured 6 years ago, really, in terms of the size of the venue. Obviously some of the are slightly different, and everything is just so much more expensive, really. So this next year is like, it's not. We're very excited to do it, and you make decisions about what you want to do and what's important to you, and how much that you're willing to pay, I guess, to do that. But it's for most musicians, touring is difficult, especially when there's more than two of you involved.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Don't
much.
want to end on a sad. I mean, it's amazing and fun, and we can't wait to do it. Yeah.
Thank you. We all know that.
Appreciate it.
L'album c'est Sunset Violence sort le 5 avril chez Warp Records et le groupe va donc entamer une tournée mondiale avec une tête d'affiche à Paris à la Cigale le 30 avril 2024. Thank you.
Thank you.